families. I wanted to share with you the slides that I shared with my Group A students today, and will share tomorrow with Group B about our reentry to school. Gosh, it's been, 10 months now? So some things to think about. We just answered some kind of basic questions to help with day one. So first of all, the schedule. I showed them that, Group A comes on Monday and Tuesday, and Group B on Thursday and Friday. Talked about how we're going to get to school by bus or car. Either way, when they arrive, they will head to the gym, and they will go through the gym doors for their attestation process. So they head in those doors. There will be plenty of adults there to help them. The gym is all set up, nicely marked with colored lines by grade, and students standing at a 6-foot distance while they move through the attestation process, including having a temperature check. Jameson asked a really important question, I think. He asked if that wand tested COVID. And it's like, nope, unfortunately not, but it does measure our temperatures. So good question on Jameson's part. Once they are done with their attestation process, together with kindergartners, third graders are going to be asked to go around the back of the building and enter the doors near the playground. So students are familiar with those doors and entering. It's how we get in and out of recess generally. And once they get in those doors, they will head up that first flight of stairs. And when they get to the top, they will go left. And so that door straight in front for students who were here in first grade, that is Mr. Bray's room, and Mrs. Unruh's room would be to the right of that. So that kind of helps them orient. So they'll go down the hall, they'll turn the corner and go down the long hall. This is essentially, it's kind of a mix of third grade and first grade classrooms. The bathroom that we will use is on the left. The blue arrow is pointing to about where our classroom is. It's about midway down. When they're wandering down, the door will be open as kids begin arriving between 9:50 and 10:10, but they can look for these things on the wall right outside our classroom. They enter, come in, the tables and desks will be designated. They'll be able to find theirs clearly. We will show them how to move their name magnet to whether they are purchasing a school lunch or they brought a lunch from home. And then, of course, we use that same system for when we use the bathroom. I mentioned to them that students will either have a designated seat at a desk or at a table. The desks currently have a little hook on front for those students to hang their backpack, and probably the tables will end up with having something similar by Monday. I mentioned to them that, at school days, we will, have to spend our time in our zone. So a lot of that will be spent at their desks or tables. We will have our masks on. They will have a chance if they want to go to the floor to sit or, stand and stretch at their desk and work, but we will be staying within arm's reach of our desks. And then we talked about a schedule. Gosh, we haven't had a schedule in a while. This is just an example. It is not our schedule, but we will have one, which I think might feel a little bit good to students. Do we have to wear a mask? Yep, we do. So we talked about when and where. So when we're in the building, except when we eat lunch, we have to wear our masks. That includes in the hallways and in the bathrooms. We do get to take it off for recess, and we'll take some outside mask breaks as we need to. And the mask does need to cover your nose and your mouth. I just reminded them to make sure they have a mask that's comfortable and safe, and that they might try wearing it for a bit of time at home just to make sure it doesn't hurt their ears or, stays up on their face, because a good mask is going to be important. If students end up, they need an additional mask at school, we have masks for them. Talked about eating lunch, which will be in our classrooms and at our desks. And our lunch period is about 30 minutes, which, will be very pleasant, as opposed to what I think sometimes feels rushed in the cafeteria and noisy. Reminding them they can bring a lunch from home or buy a lunch at school. Lunch isn't until 12:35, and so I remind them, even for those kids that aren't really breakfast eaters, it is going to be important. They're probably that first week going to end up being hungry by lunchtime, but they're going to have to adjust to that. Talked about a few new things they'll see, like the hand sanitizer stations, the fact that we will have staircases that are designated as down or up staircases. And we'll talk more next week about how we indicate who's in the bathroom, because there is one person in the bathroom at a time. All right, what do I bring on the first day? So, backpack, water bottle, lunchbox, if you're bringing your own lunch. I really want to emphasize the importance of jackets. Our lunch recess is 30 minutes long, which is awesome. But we know what winter and even spring can be like. So jackets are going to be really important. And if students have one with a hood, that would be great. They do need to bring back, and this is a bit of a change from my first video, there are 2 math books that are coming back. But then they should have a spiral, maybe 2, and those need to come back, and their composition book that we've done a little bit of math work in. So those all need to come back. Chromebook stays at home. Other supplies like paper, pencil, scissors, etc., those stay at home. Their math kit stays at home for now. It will eventually come back. And then I just reminded them, pet sisters and brothers have to stay at home. We talked a bit about at-home days and the fact that those are still school days, and they will have assignments to do in Google Classroom. So we talked again a little bit about, like, what do I do when I'm not at school? So I showed them this graphic. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, when Group A is at school, Group B is going to be working on their Google Classroom work at home. On Thursdays and Fridays, when Group B is at school, Group A is going to be working on their Google Classroom work at home. And then, of course, Wednesdays, we're all at home. Specialists, as I have shared with you, are going to be continue to be asynchronous or done through Zoom. And so the way that works is those also happen on the days when they're not at school. So Group B, besides having a Google Classroom work on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, on Mondays and Tuesdays, they will have their specialists. So they will need to link, and we'll get those shared. Their specialists will open that Zoom at 1 o'clock. And then for Group B, or on Thursdays and Fridays, Group B is at school. Group A is doing Google Classroom work and have their specialists on those days as well. Can't do the work, letting Mrs. Peters know is good. Email the school, call the school, and that helps me take attendance. And then I did let students know that Google Classrooms will be kind of changing as class lists change. And so their Google Classroom might look new, kind of fun for a second semester. And then I just answered some questions. So I hope that helps. That's what we've talked about, and looking forward to next week. And if you have any questions, make sure that you reach out. So thank you.